Hey, what's up guys? Today's video we're gonna be working on a Dodge Viper. So I got some maintenance stuff to do. First things first, we are going to, you guys can probably tell by the title, we're gonna be changing the spark plugs and wires on this V10 monster of an engine. So I'm gonna do that, but I'm also gonna be changing the oil. So while we do the actual wires and the plugs, I'm gonna let the oil drip and drain out of there. So I'll leave it for a while so everything can come out. And we'll get into the plugs and wires. Let me pull that oil out of there and I'll show you guys what we're putting on for plugs and wires on this Dodge Viper. All right, so we'll get this off. It's just a 14 mil. And you might be asking, John, why are you laying on the ground when you have a lift? Well, I don't like the big splash and I don't have one of those fancy things that goes with the pan up in the air. So I just do it down here. I'm only down here for 2 seconds and then we'll be back up top in a minute anyways. So we'll let this drain out and we'll go to the top. All right, while the oil drains, I'll show you guys what we got and what we're doing today. So we've got the Champion plugs, and I'll link everything that I'm using in the description below. We got the Champion copper plugs. So these are actually the spec from the slightly newer Viper, the 2003 and up, so the 3rd gen, I believe. And these are a better plug apparently. It's an upgraded plug, but it works great in our motors. And then I've got wires. Yes, don't cry, I'm putting AC Delco. I got a smoking deal on these things. So this is premium wires. They're 8 mil wires, silicone wires. So they're actually pretty nice, you guys. So these are gonna be awesome. As you can see, they're 8 mil silicone. So the wires that I have on the car are pretty good, but I mean, they're just original, right? So they're just a million years old. I actually really like the ones that are on here. I'm definitely not gonna throw them away. So these are also, as you can see, I think they're 8 mil from the factory, but it says Mopar on them and actually even says Viper on them, which is pretty cool. And they're numbered, which is nice. Each one actually has a number stamped on it. I don't know if these ones do just yet, but I'll discover that once I open it. I've also got the SRT, the Viper spec filter. So definitely you guys want to invest in this. This is the best and the better filter for our cars. It says Viper right on it, so can't go wrong there. And then this is the oil that I run since it's extremely hot climate here, 15W50. This is the mobile that actually I've heard rumors that the actual man himself that designed the engine recommends this oil. So never had a problem with this. I run this in a lot of my high performance vehicles. And even though it's thicker, it's so hot here and this thing is running in extreme temperatures that this thing will be perfect. So anyways, I'm gonna let that finish draining and then we'll move on. So I'm actually gonna remove the oil filter while that drains, just so that anything that's in the oil filter adapter can drain out as well. And I'm just gonna leave both of them undone while we do all the work up top. So I'll loosen the oil filter, make sure your pan's underneath because it's definitely gonna puke out. All right, so truth be told, I actually left that thing drain overnight. It's the next day, so I'm gonna go ahead, we'll put the drain plug back in and put our new SRT filter back on there. Okay, so I'm gonna grab our filter, and the nice thing about these Viper spec filters from Mopar is they actually come very well sealed. So pop off that plastic lid, you gotta go in through here, little brace, and we'll spin her on. Some guys like to fill them up with oil, I'll leave that up to you guys. But it's instantly going to be filled with oil anyways, in my opinion. But again, up to you guys. And then I'll just hand tighten it. And that's it. And now we'll go ahead and we'll put in our drain plug. Okay, and for the drain plug, I feel like you guys will know this, but aluminum oil pan, don't go crazy on it. Just snug it up with your wrench. So that's all done. Wipe up any oil that you may have from taking the oil filter off, since it kind of drips a little bit. Wipe off any oil on your pan and we can go up top. Okay, just so we don't forget, I'm gonna put the oil in first just so we're all done with the oil change aspect of it. So it's gonna take 10 quarts, so it should take 2 of these jugs. Here is jug number 2. Okay, so there's still about half a quart left, but it's full on the stick. I think once we start it and the oil filter fills up, then you can probably put in the extra half quart, but I'm gonna wait till we do it then. So let's go ahead. We're gonna take off this air box. It'll allow us to get access to the spark plugs a little bit more easier. And it's only 3 screws, which I'll show you here. And this will come out. All right, so a few things. So there's a 10 mil bolt here. There's one here. and then there's a Phillips screw there and a Phillips screw there. So you take out those 4 and this comes off. The other thing too is we're gonna take off the cowl because it'll allow us to get to our wires, which are behind the intake manifold. So get to those easier. If you had windshield wipers, I don't know why you would on a Viper, mine doesn't, but I've got block off plates. There's a Phillips screw here on both sides, and then another one here, and then this whole cowl comes off after you get the wipers off, or if you don't have them like me, then there you go. Okay, so those 4 are off, so this will just slide off like so. Okay, now we'll take this off. So you have to open the door to get these side screws out. And off she comes. Okay, so first things first, I'm just gonna change the plugs first and we'll worry about the wires second. So I always like to, when I remove these wires, spin them a little bit, because sometimes if you just give a quick yank on it, it'll actually pull the terminal off. So just give them a little spin just to kind of loosen them up a bit before you actually pull them out. Okay, so all the wires are out, and I'll show you this tool that I use on everything, and it works awesome for doing plugs. So if you guys don't have one of these tools, I highly recommend it. I use it on all the Hemi stuff and pretty much anywhere I need to replace a spark plug. It's actually magnetic, so it picks it up. It doesn't have one of those stupid rubber things in it, and it's got this swivel on it, which makes life so easy for tight places. So this is just a really good spark plug tool. I'll link it down below. It's not that expensive. I think it's like $13 or something shipped. So highly recommend if you guys are car guys, truck guys, anything guys, get one of these, you guys. Okay, and make sure you have compressed air with a line, and we're gonna blow out right where the spark plug goes, because sometimes dirt can collect in the bottom. The last thing you wanna do is take your plug out and have some dirt fall into your engine. And also get yourself some sort of feeler gauge or one of these quick little gauges and double check all your gaps on your spark plug. We should be around 35 thousandths. I think the spec is between 33 and 38 thousandths. So I'm just double checking, setting these all to 35, and then we'll fire them in. And if for some reason it's your first time doing that, it's really quite simple. You take the gauge, and yours might look different, or you can use a feeler gauge. And on this one in particular, you're gonna slide it around to make sure that it's at around 35 thousandths. So you can see we're good there. And I'm just gonna do every single one. All right, all the plugs are done. So we'll grab 5 of them since we're doing the one side. And we'll go over and exchange them. So like I mentioned, use an air nozzle. See all that dirt just flew out of there? You don't want that in your engine. So make sure you guys do this. Okay, once the dust settles, then you can get in here, and this is why I like this tool that I was telling you. I just put another 12-inch extension on it, and you can operate your handle from way out here instead of in there. So I changed these plugs a couple years ago, I believe, but I don't really drive this car that often, so there they are. So I previously had Champions in it, and I think they're time to be swapped out. So go ahead and change them. And now for the new plugs, slide it in with our new tool. I like to put them in by hand, or at least start them, and then you can switch back to the ratchet just so you're not cross-threading anything. We'll go ahead and take out the plugs on that side, swap those, and then we can work on the wires next. So same deal, you guys. Some of them are already removed or maybe broken, but I'm gonna remove the posts off. And then we'll remove our wires, just give them a little twist, and then pop them off. And it's gonna get a little tight around this fluid reservoir, but I promise it won't be that bad. Okay. There we go. Wires all out of our way. And now we're definitely going to use our air nozzle and blow all the air into these different spark plug holes so we can get all the dirt out. Okay, now we'll take out all our spark plugs. We'll start with the most maybe difficult one. And like I said, with that thing, it makes it quite easy. Same thing, no problem. And the new plug's going in. Okay guys, so get yourself familiar with where your wires are and where they go in the coil pack. So you'll see here that all the top plugs go to the driver's side and the bottom ones, hopefully you can see, all come to this side. And the order is a little bit not what you'd expect, so just make sure you familiarize with what's going on. So I just pulled this up on the forums. So from left to right, so it's actually this way if you were to look at it. So you're gonna have 6, 4, 2, 10, 8, and then on the top row you're gonna have 1, 7, 3, 5, 9. So picture that like this, as far as if you were looking at the coil packs this way, and those are them. So I'm gonna pop them all off. I'm gonna bring them over to the bench and line them up with our new wires, because they're all gonna be different lengths, and then we'll put them into our clips, put them back on. There we go, let's go to the bench. Okay, so there's no right or wrong way to do this, you guys, but essentially you're gonna have to measure out your wires and compare them. So what I'm doing is, in order to make this as clean, as tidy as possible, I think these are probably the original wires off the car, to be honest. Somebody might have replaced them, but they are Viper wires, and they're all beautifully numbered. That's the only downfall about changing them out. I don't think Mopar makes these wires anymore, but it is nice that every single one has the number of the cylinder that it's on it. So I just laid this out on this Dakota table, and if there's any Dakota fans out there, don't get too offended. This hood is all bent to crap anyways, so it's getting repainted. But I was just laying this out. I tried doing it on my bench, but it's almost like you're running out of room. So I just kind of lay them out. I kept them in their bundle and just compared the lengths of each one and just matched them up. And so you kind of have to play a matchup game between the passenger and driver side cylinders until you come up with the matching set. So I've got them all laid out, and all I'm going to do next is I'm going to replace them one by one in the clip, just so that they're in a general area where they're going to just I'm going to throw these things on and just click them in and be done with it. One other thing I'm probably going to do, honestly, is I'm just going to take a little pen and just write the actual number of the cylinder on the end, just temporarily, at least for now. That way it stays. I know you can buy these nice little clips that put it on the end. I don't have those here. I might put them eventually, but yeah, let's get it done. All right, so I've got the wires all laid out in their clasps, and I left them open just so I could adjust them a little bit. If you guys are curious how to open these without breaking them, you'll see that there's two little winglets on each side. So what you do is you just lift up this part and you slide this sideways, and then it releases and comes out. So that's how you do it. So you lift it up so that you can slide it sideways like this, and then it releases. So we got all those off. I got all my old wires down there. I'm still gonna keep the old ones, but let's go ahead and put them on and click them into position. All right guys, so I'm just gonna be laying in my wires, and then I'm gonna be referencing that number chart I showed you guys, which I could probably put up on the screen here. And I'm just gonna plug in all my wires. It's a little bit difficult to get to the bottom ones. Kind of have to work your arm in through the side here, but you can get it all in. It's just a bit of a pain. So we'll lay everything in here, and I'm gonna click all those in place. All right, so after some messing around, we got them all in place, and I liked my idea of just keeping these in the order that they came out of from the factory, because everything lines up beautifully. I do have to get one new clip. This was broken from a while back, but as you can see, everything tucks in nicely, wraps around there, and then hopefully you can see that, but I aimed them all on an angle upwards, and it kind of did this beautiful little arc through here so that nothing's rubbing on anything, and it keeps it all away from the exhaust. So I'm gonna finish just clicking these all in. I just kind of put them in place, but that's pretty much it. We'll just give them a little push till they click down, and we'll go ahead and finish this up. All right, same deal guys. We're on the driver's side. Let's go ahead and get them on, and you can see the terminals right there, so it's a lot easier to get to the top than here. Let's get it done. So same deal, I'm gonna start by laying all my wires in, since they all should be in the right spot. And I marked on both sides in case you guys are wondering how I'm magically doing this. I just marked each one so that I know where each one goes. So that's that. Okay, so I got most of my wires organized and just kind of getting things sorted out. And now I'll go ahead and plug them on the top, and then I can kind of just slide them in their different little holders just to kind of fix everything. So I'll reference that chart again, and I click them all in on the top. All right, so after reviewing the chart, now I can click them all down and we can get organized. Okay, so all our wires are in place, our clips are in place, everything is clicked down, and go ahead and put the windshield cowl back on. And we'll reinstall our air box and put in our 4 screws. Okay, so real quick, we'll start it, make sure she's good after doing all that stuff, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Alright guys, so that's going to be a wrap for today's video. If you did like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up before you take off. Also, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so you're notified of all the latest and newest videos. And also check out all the other content and videos we've already made on the Viper and a bunch of different Dodges. We've done the SRT 10 build, the 4th gen Ram build, we've got the Dakota RT build, and an S2000 and a bunch of other stuff. So make sure you guys check out some of the other videos if you guys enjoyed this one. And we're going to be doing a big high horsepower build on the Viper soon, so we just got a bunch of maintenance stuff to take care of. We've also done a big brake upgrade and a bunch of mods to this car too, so check out all those other videos, and we're gonna be doing some fun stuff to this one, so you guys will want to stick around. So thanks again guys, and we'll see you on the next video.